Good morning, everybody. It's Ace of Trades. It is Monday, April 18th. The Bible says in the book of Luke, chapter 14, verse 26, If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Now, a first glance at this verse would sound pretty harsh. Hate your father and your mother. But if we look at the parallel passage in Matthew chapter 10, verse 37, it says, He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. So the word hate there in Luke actually means to love less, not to abhor. So God puts those verses in the Bible because people who approach the Bible in a state of unbelief and are looking for reasons to justify not liking the Bible, they'll find those verses. But people who approach the Bible trying to learn and understand, God will show you how those verses are explained. So on the chart, we've got overnight highs I put here. This is just right after, I guess, prices opened. And then we wicked up into it and pushed down a little bit. And then the overnight lows down here. Looks like we got basically like two legs up out of here. And prices are kind of chopping down now. So this looks kind of weak. So we may try to fade here. We'll just have to see. Again, always looking for good structures. Clean legs to try to trade. So, yeah, we'll be back again later. All right, I'm watching this downtrend for now. It's a bit of a choppy downtrend. It has the feel to me like it's gonna roll over into something steeper. The fact that we aren't touching across the bottom here to me means, maybe it's not. It's just what do I want to say. It's not like this isn't really a downtrend that you have to worry about an overshoot. If this would roll over into something steeper, then it'd be okay just kind of switching it up and looking for something off something steeper. This kind of has the feel to me like buyers are just not quite willing to give up. And now that this is pushing down to something steeper, we'll see. Maybe they will now. Um, if this does pop back up here, I would still just kind of respect this as an overshoot and not take anything off here. But sometimes these little choppy, shallow trends end up rolling over into something steeper. So we'll watch and see if that happens. All right, so we had this downtrend, a little bit of an overshoot there. It ends up going sideways, kind of pushes out here of this little range area. Higher low would have been okay here if you'd have gotten it, but you didn't. So, no, I don't see anything there. It looks like prices are trying to head up higher now. Maybe there's a trend here. Sorry, I had an interruption there in the middle of a sentence. So I was saying it's like this is heading for into an uptrend now. Have it drawn like this so far. Um, yeah, so that's still fitting. It looks kind of weird to me. Maybe it's more like this. Still looks like an uptrend to me. It's just drawing it off the bottom didn't seem to fit very well. So maybe it's kind of more like that. Uh, just slightly steeper. Something like that. So I'll watch this. Be careful here because of, you're hitting into that area where prices sold off before. So, if you get a correction here, just might want to be careful. Make sure it really looks good before you go long into former resistance there. Yeah, the way this sold off right in the exact same area. I'm probably just going to lay off any kind of long that sets up to retest. Um, so I've been burned on those before, where it looks like you get a nice new trend, and then but you pushed up into former resistance. So I'll probably just lay off anything there and just wait for prices to reset. Yeah, so we did. I mean, you have this nice trend, but we did end up rejecting off this level. Got another trend down, little break, pushed to a new low. Looks like prices actually came down and tested this former resistance area and then bounced off it. Now we're just chopping around, so there's really nothing to do here except for wait for some structure to develop that you can trade off of. Okay, guys, I got a trade here. Again, I'm watching. I'm not really focused on hitting that recorder because I'm watching both markets. I could have actually taken this on either market, and I'll show that to you. I chose to go with this one here. Um, so ES, you had this big downtrend, and you had one leg up, break, second leg up. This is probably a decent spot to try a runner, but I didn't think about it. I was just focused on getting the trade. So I took that for 2 points there. It's also probably if you like going for 1-to-1, it's a decent spot to go for 1-to-1 because you can see there you've got room to the EMA, and yeah, this looks like so you got one big leg down here. Looks like price is rejecting the EMA there now from underneath. May just push down. So you might be looking at something like that. Um, and then on NQ, I saw it on the 2K chart, which the 1K has been, I flip back and forth between looking at them. You could probably taken it on 1K here also, but this wasn't, you can see earlier, this wasn't printing so clean through here. This move is pretty clean, but I um, wasn't watching it on here. And it's basically a measured move, but you can see it on the 2K also. And what I would do if I was taking it on 2K, what I'd probably do is I would scale down my contracts. Actually, on the other screen where I'm watching it, I have this at 3 on 2K. Because you can see you're in for about 40 points there. So what I would probably do is go for 20. And so you're in the same amount. It's because 2 bars on 1K is the size of 1 bar on 2K. And you can see it there really. Um, the only difference I'd say is on the NQ, you're coming off the overnight low, whereas on the ES, you've just pushed back into the range. So you would be um, thinking more that maybe this is going to push down again. Um, whereas NQ, you might be just a tad concerned that, I'm coming off the overnight low. Is there a chance we're go back up here? But um, contextually, the ES is a little bit better. But that's pretty clean as far as the trade goes. So anyway, we got one trade there. We'll keep watching for more. Okay, so you just kind of never know what prices are going to do. So we looked like we were going to push down here and just kind of find some support, pushes up a little bit more. Maybe this is a bigger 2 legs. So it looks like it's trying to head back down now, but you have this kind of sideways stuff here. So, this could be finding support. Anyway, we'll just continue looking for the structures that we can trade. So, yeah, that's it for now.
All right, so we have end up getting your second leg down here, but doesn't launch from your two-legged correction. It pushes up a little bit more and then comes down here. And this is very choppy here. I don't really like any trades in here. This is very sideways, pushed down. There's a lower high here, but I wouldn't. This is what I see here. I see there's like a range here. So it looks to me like maybe this is a poke out and you're just kind of shorting into the bottom of the range. Um, and then there's nothing here, pushes down, pushing up now. NQ looks a little bit stronger. See that off the other chart here. So this looks like NQ's come down to the overnight low and then it's retested and now it looks like it's pushing up a little bit stronger. It's clearing this swing. So we might look for something on there. But also keep an eye on ES is kind of doing the same thing right now. So we'll watch for maybe get along on see if we can get along on either one there. So we'll be watching those. Okay, quick update. Um, let's see, where were we? So I think I was talking about that measured move, and prices seem to be kind of moving in legs here. We got this trend up, two bigger legs down. Now I wouldn't be trying to. This is something you see after prices start going up. I wouldn't be trying to like take a trade down here and saying, "Oh, this is a measured move," because you got all this chop inside that, and you don't know that that's what that's going to be, and prices are going to stop here and go higher. But you can see it after the fact. So you get these two legs up, but you're in an uptrend. There's nothing you're able to take here. Fly back down at a downtrend. You get two legs up, push this back down. We draw this trend line, but we're not going to take anything off here because we know that these wider channels that have two legs and a lot of white space all over the place, if something would set up here that it fails on you too much to count on it for a trade. So I'd be kind of conscious of this area right here now that we're trading up into until we get through it and maybe come back and test it. Because it seems to be like a resistance area. Every time we push up into this area, come back down, and who knows why things are swinging back and forth here in legs. But I haven't seen, since this trade, I really haven't seen anything else that I would look at for a trade. So that's about it. Just waiting for to see if, I don't know, I'm not really too confident in this blue trend channel I have here. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if prices like fall back off of this level or whatever it does. And you just keep watching and waiting till you can find a structure that you can work with, and then you get some sort of setup off it. So yeah, that's it for now. All right, so it does indeed look like we can see we bumped into all this resistance in this area here. Looks like prices are trying to push off of that now. I don't really see anything in here you'd want to take. Of course, you wouldn't want to take any longs because this is a resistance area. This lower high, I don't really care for that because it's kind of right in the middle of all this price action. Um, and you might also, have this drawn here potentially as a range. So you're basically shorting right into that range. Um, Only time I really like higher lows, lower highs is when a move is over. Um, like in this area, if you get like a nice lower high here, I mean there is a lower high, but that's not one you'd want to take. Um, After a move is over and you're looking for some sort of relief in the other direction, a lower high is like a confirmation that prices are going to move off of that level. Or whenever you're in a clear downtrend like this, and then maybe you get a leg back and you get a push down, and then you get a lower high like below the EMA for prices to like retest. I don't like just lower highs and higher lows in the middle of price action like that. Um, those are just patterns in not great context. So anyway, let's see what happens here now. Prices are kind of moving down off this level now. Let's see if they give us some sort of downward structure to work with. I just want to comment on this. It looks like you may be getting a second entry long setting up here, but I don't think I want to take that with. I'm not entirely sure that this downtrend is not like this. This seems like the break for this downtrend, so I would not want to take a long into a downtrend that may be trying to retest here. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't be doing that. And this is not very strong. You can see by these wicks here on this this push up, the way the sellers came in and sold this way down on that bar. Then they came in earlier and sold this way down. So I'm thinking this is going to push down for a new low here. Okay, so looks like there's some kind of news came about something right here because this just ripped right off the overnight lows. Getting a lot of volume right now. Maybe once the news settles in, um, this will calm down a little bit. So we'll just keep watching it. But yeah, I was looking for maybe like a higher low off here. Weren't getting a whole lot of room because you had this downtrend break. You had one leg, two legs down, clearly off the overnight low. Just didn't have a whole lot of room there. Chopped sideways, and then some sort of news came out, and it's just ripping higher now. Maybe there's a second entry here coming for this uptrend. We'll wait and see. On second thought, I realized that we're back up into this resistance area like before. So I think you gotta lay off that, and this is pretty far spread out. Um, yeah, so I think you just gotta lay off that. If it ends up going up, so be it. But every time prices have come up into this area, they've sold off. So you can't just rely on a trend that's going to retest because of that whole issue, I think. So anyway, well, it's 3 o'clock, so we'll go a little bit longer here, and then maybe I'll wrap it up if nothing else is sticking out. All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap it up for today with about 30 some minutes to go here till the close. We just zipped up here some kind of war news, favorable war news or something like that about, I don't know, Iran or something. And then, of course, the market's settling down and coming back down, but it's very choppy and stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the video out. I'll probably sit here and trade or watch the chart. Maybe not trade at all, but for the last half hour or so. But I don't perceive there's going to be anything here really to talk about. Looks like there's no direction. Prices are trying to figure out what to do. Maybe to just slowly kind of grind back down to where they were. But yeah, so we got the one trade for today, and there's maybe a couple other areas. Not sure here. I mean, there's always aggressive ones that you can try. But there's a lower high here, but you're too close to the EMA. Which that's something where you'd like to see that poke up higher and then get the lower high. So same kind of deal like right here when you get back into this resistance, you don't get anything like really favorable there. Prefer to see like the high points start with like it would have been nice if you'd have caught like a lower high like right here, like this bar would have poked up and then maybe just closed a little bit lower with 4 points or so to the EMA. You've already got two legs up there into an area where prices are resisting, but you just didn't get it. No setups. So anyway, I will be back again tomorrow. See you then.